Drug testing food stamp recipients, panacea or problem? The recent Nutrition Reform and Work Opportunity Act was proposed to legislators to reform the food assistant programs. In Section 136 of the bill, it authorizes any state at its own expense to 1. Drug test food stamp recipients, 2. To disqualify an individual from participation based upon a positive test result. We polled the public to find out their knowledge and perception regarding drug testing food stamp recipients. We asked the public who they think this bill will financially affect in the future. Surveyors said children and low-income families would be negatively affected the most. The estimated amount of individuals affected is actually 1.7 million poor unemployed adults, 2.1 million low-income working families, and 210,000 children who would lose school lunches if their parents failed the drug test. We asked the public what do they feel the financial benefits for the government will be if the drug testing requirement gets implemented. An overwhelming majority of those we surveyed believe the bill will save money for the states. It was projected $1.5 million will be spent on a state program, with a cost savings of $229,000. Additionally, Michigan's pilot drug testing food stamp recipients concluded that the state saved money, but it also found that many potential recipients opted out due to additional obstacles. Although the pilot programs adequately reduced food stamp budgets, it also resulted in the loss of benefits, not only for drug users, but for the children whose parents were ineligible, defeating the goal of the food stamp program altogether. We asked the public what they think the average amount of food stamp benefits is per person in Michigan. Our surveyor's average answer was $381 per month. But the true cost as of 2012 was $135.84 per month. Surveyors estimated 36% higher than the actual amount. We asked the public why they think legislators support drug testing for food stamps. The majority of the individuals we surveyed feel that legislators will save money for the state and prevent food stamp misuse. The bill was proposed to reduce costs and increase self-sufficiency by incorporating work requirements. Political supporters of the bill back it as a method to reduce state costs and government abuse of funds, which it may adequately do, but politicians may also promote it for their own political gain at the cost of those in need of food assistance. We asked the public which political party they think is the most supportive of drug testing: Republicans or Democrats? All surveyors responded that Republicans were thought to be the most supportive for the drug testing. Republicans are generally in support of drug testing because of budgetary concerns. However, Democrats are less supportive of the provision due to the invasive nature of drug testing and the extensive program cost. Our representatives influence, promote, enact, and have the power to decide how this bill will be implemented and ultimately decide who will receive food benefits. This bill will also give states the discretion to decide if they want to help drug-using recipients get treatment or do nothing to aid in their recovery, in addition to denying them benefits. We asked the public to tell us 4 words to describe a typical food stamp recipient. According to the surveyors' responses, the most common words chosen were unemployed, poor, uneducated, and urban minorities. The actual demographic of an individual who receives food stamps can be just about anyone. The most common recipients, though, did include the demographics of Caucasian women, unmarried with children, and varying in education. The public was shown 3 different pie graphs to choose from in regards to the rate of drug users among food stamp recipients. The first graph showed 50% were non-users and 50% were drug users. The second pie graph showed 70% were non-users and 30% were drug users. The third one showed 97% were non-users and 3% were drug users. The most commonly chosen was the second graph. The true graph is the third one. Those we surveyed shared the larger society's view and negative stereotypes regarding food stamp recipients. The bill may unintentionally stereotype them as criminals, further stigmatizing this population while contributing to the belief that they are somehow undeserving. We asked the public if they were aware that there are social movements against drug testing welfare recipients. Surveyors were uninformed of specific social movements regarding the anti-war on drugs and the anti-prison industrial complex. These movements work towards reforms that will alleviate sanctions on welfare that have been in result of the drug war and criminalization of drugs and drug use. It was concluded that these specific social movements have little impact in swaying voters and politicians. However, it is significant that the government takes into consideration the harm that is more likely to be caused by the implementation of drug tests based on past social movements. These social movements highlight the importance of thinking critically about drug use and policies surrounding it. We asked the public what their understanding of the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act is. Surveyors were uninformed about concepts of the Act and what the relationship it has with food stamp and welfare recipients is. Historically, there have been numerous welfare reform proposals that have included drug testing as an eligibility requirement. This trend in recent years is based on an ideological shift from addressing welfare as a right to addressing welfare as a privilege that must be earned by the deserving. Drug testing food stamp recipients has been proposed as a panacea to address budget concerns. With deeper analysis, it has shown it has the potential to undermine the food assistance program by disqualifying some of the very recipients it targets to aid. Although the proposal may be applied equally to all participants and adequately addresses the budgetary strains, it is unequitable in its implementation because it further burdens a population already in need. State pilot drug testing programs have revealed a cost savings to the state. But only a tiny savings compared to the cost of administering such programs. Additional research found the cost savings was largely associated to the dropping out of eligible recipients due to the added testing requirements that burden them with restricted times, added costs, and transportation issues. Further, most Democratic legislators have argued that the proposal potentially violates the privacy rights and stigmatizes participants. But conservative legislators have largely supported efforts to reduce food stamp budgets under the guise of protecting the abuse of government funds by using negative beliefs about addicts, therefore justifying the elimination of undeserving participants. It is as if the message from the proposers of the bill is, food access is a basic human right, but not for drug addicts. The proposal could more equitably be addressed by incorporating a treatment component for those testing, or to complete a drug history screening for drug testing. And any individual that has a positive test will stay on food assistance. while completing outpatient treatment. Panacea or problem? You decide.